DeepCool has sent me two cases. This is the CH690, which is micro ATX. It has a glass main panel with mesh at the front for airflow and can support either a 280 or 360mm radiator in the roof. The price in the UK, £50 to £55. And then we have the CH690 Digital, which is ATX, glass on the main panel and also glass in the front, and we have this display, hence the digital name. This larger case can support a 360 or 420 cooler in the roof, a 240 or a 280 in the side, and a 360 cooler on the PSU shroud. The price in the UK, £100 to £110. But you will note neither of these cases comes with any fans, so apart from the fact you need to add some money to the price to allow for those fans you're going to necessarily include, DeepCool has also sent us some fans to have a play with during our review of... I think I'm going to have a quick look at the micro ATX, but the review is going to be of the CH690 Digital. Going to take a quick tour of the CH690 before we get on with a review of the CH690 Digital, and let's start by looking at the user manual. Small does not begin to describe it. Also, it's monochrome, so no color pictures. There is all the useful information you essentially require to build your PC, but I think they could do slightly better with the user guide. The accessories come in this box, various screws, velcro straps and cable ties. So let's pull the case apart. You might think you put your fingers in that groove there and pull, but actually it works better that way. Slightly awkward. With the front panel removed, we reveal some securing screws. There are two for the main glass and one for that lower cover. The same deal for this panel. And the top panel is secured by two screws on either side. Seems to rock around slightly. Bottom panel is mesh, therefore part of the airflow system, and there's a dust filter inside the case. Let's keep going. Front panel I/O, the cables are velcroed in place. That's the power supply bracket, and the fact the power supply goes in this position here means that you require a pass-through cable to connect from the rear to that position there. I think I'm going to take a couple of minutes to put a micro ATX motherboard and also a power supply in this case, just so we can get a feel for how it might look, and then we can move on to our CH690 Digital. Well, that looks interesting. Power supply is this Seasonic Focus GX1000, 1000 watts, gold rated, ATX3. Motherboard, MSI B650M Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Our processor is an AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D, and we have 32GB of G.Skill DDR5 memory. And the graphics card, which squeezes in with space to spare, is an MSI RTX 4090 Ventus 3X. Obviously you need to install a CPU cooler to finish the build, but there's plenty of space in the roof for an AIO or indeed for an air cooler. That's a quick look at the DeepCool CH690, and now let's move on to our review of the CH690 Digital.
With 20 years of PC manufacturing experience, CyberPower PC are the best in the business. With the largest range of parts available in the UK, our team of experienced builders will expertly build and test each system to be delivered to you the very next day. Check out cyberpowersystem.co.uk.
Let's begin with the user guide, which is the same tiddly little thing we saw with the CH260. Again, adequate but unimpressive. The accessory pack, well, one of the two accessory packs. It's a bag of bits, various screws and things, cable ties, Velcro straps. You also get this pack, and this contains something I've never seen before. It's a rear panel to replace this piece of glass and a fan mount, and the reason for that is because natively this case does not support a fan at the rear. Let's take a quick look at that. Off with the top, away with this piece of glass. Install the optional panel in place of the glass panel. And now, if we install this fan bracket in the rear of the case, we have added a fan. Okay, as we were, glass reinstalled. Let's remove some panels. Top panel, like so. Now we have some shipping screws. Trying to remember whether I've reinstalled it after my initial look around this case. So that shipping screw which goes in there I've already removed. However, it takes a fairly firm pull to remove it. This shipping screw is still installed. And then the front glass shipping screw there, but that's slightly different. It's not so much a shipping screw as a screw you would probably leave in place even once your PC is built. And the reason for that is that once the screw is removed, you move the glass to the side and it comes away. As you can see, those tags engage in slots. With the panels removed, we can see the CH690 Digital is relatively conventional, apart from the absence of any fans and that piece of glass. The power supply goes in the rear in the usual position. We have these various cutouts, so you can put a rear connection motherboard in, such as MSI Project Zero, so you can hide away all your nasty cables. Here we have drive mounts, so you can put pegs into your drives and just plug them into the grommets. So there's plenty of locations for storage. And then when it comes to cooling, in terms of fans, you can put 3120s or 3140s in the roof, or a 360 or 420 liquid cooler. In the side, you can put 3120 or 3140s, but if it's a liquid cooler in the side, it's smaller, 240 or 280. You can also put a 120 or 140mm fan in the rear, and you can put 3120 or 3140 fans on the PSU shroud, or you can put a 360 liquid cooler on the PSU shroud. Because this case comes without any fans and the layout is quite conventional, I'm going to put some hardware in it, and then I'm going to get on and do some thermal testing, and we'll see what we think about the different options for installing fans and coolers. The hardware I've chosen is pretty much a copy of the Montec HSO2 system I built the other week, and the reason I've gone for this hardware is it's white in colour, and this case is inky black, so I want to give you a bit of contrast. Motherboard is a Gigabyte Z890 Aorus Pro Ice. The processor is an Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. We have 32 gigabytes of G.Skill DDR5 6000 memory. Graphics card is by Sapphire and is a Radeon RX 6950 XT. Significantly Nitro Plus Pure, which means white. The power supply is a Seasonic Focus GX1000. White in colour, so both the power supply and the cables are white. Again, a nice bit of contrast. ATX 3.1, 1000 watts, gold rated. And for the CPU cooler, I am taking this Corsair H170i Elite Capellix off the shelf. It's a 420mm AIO, loads of RGB. This case accommodates a 420 in the roof, so let's get this installed and see how it performs. Plenty of space, and it looks lovely and tidy. Around the back, we have the Corsair control hub. And of course I'm going to have to install Corsair IQ software to control the fans, the pump, and to do something with the RGB. So you will note we have the fans in the roof on the AIO, and at the moment no other fans installed whatsoever. So I'm going to work through a few permutations of cooling, and we'll see how the CH690 Digital performs. And also, we'll see what happens with this display when the system's running. To test the DeepCool, we're using a combination of Speedway Stress Test and Cinebench R23. The PC's drawing 675 watts at the wall socket, 300 watts to the graphics card, 220 watts to the processor. Ambient temperature is 22 degrees C. In the first test, we have no case fans. We're relying on the Corsair H170i and its 3 140mm fans. With the fan set to 1000 RPM, it sounds like this. CPU temperature is 88 degrees, graphics temperature is 67 degrees, which is a couple of degrees warmer than we might expect. For the second test, we add a DeepCool FL12 fan at the rear, and we set that at 1000 RPM as well. And it sounds like this. The CPU temperature is still 88 degrees, the graphics temperature is still 67 degrees. For our third test, we add 3 DeepCool FL12 fans in the side, and they are also running at 1000 RPM, and the system now sounds like this. Surprisingly, the CPU temperature is maintained at 88 degrees, the graphics at 67 degrees. For our fourth test, we add 3 DeepCool FL12 reverse fans to the PSU shroud, and they are also running at 1000 RPM, and the system now sounds like this. To our great surprise, the CPU temperature continues to be 88 degrees, the graphics continue to be 67 degrees. For our final test, all the fans are increased in speed to 1500 RPM, and it sounds like this. And now we do see a drop in temperatures. The CPU drops to 82 degrees, the graphics to 66 degrees. And so we come to my conclusions. Pros, the good points. You have loads of options for cooling, up to a 420mm cooler in the roof. Secondly, a digital display is included, which I haven't actually mentioned. The DeepCool software is fairly basic. It clearly uses the sensors built into all manner of parts of your PC, graphics card, motherboard, the whole shooting match. And it displays either processor or graphics details. You can toggle it within the software. It works well enough, and it's a handy little extra. Third, the CH690 Digital is so large that it cools fairly well without any case fans. Flip that around, it's supplied without case fans, and strictly speaking you don't need to add case fans, which feels like a really weird thing to say. And my feeling is it's quite a large case, it has plenty of openings, and essentially it leaks quite well. So this huge CPU cooler in the roof of the case, the 3 on 40 fans, the fans on the graphics card, it gets by perfectly okay, albeit a couple of degrees warmer than we might expect. Cons, the negative points. There are very few cable grommets. I didn't mention this during the build, it just kind of dawned on me. This case is clearly about the show and the fact it supports reverse connector motherboards, and also for that matter you don't get Velcro straps. So cable management is tie down points for cable ties, and you don't get cable grommets to tidy things up. Second con, even though that kind of sounded like two cons. The square pattern holes in the various steel panels such as at the back here, seem rather restrictive, and that I'm sure is why when I ramped up the fans to high, the case would flow air reasonably well, but until you turn the fans up and suffer the noise, it's just mediocre. Thirdly, the user guide is tiny. I mean, it's almost comedy. Yes, you can get the PDF from the website, but when you're kicking off your build, a paper guide is handy, and that is less great than it could be. And the final con, and this one is a bit borderline, no fans are included. That's clearly an economic thing, and I've clearly packed the case out. But for example, you can put fans on the PSU shroud, but what good are they doing? After all, there's a power supply down there and loads of metal and so on. They're there just for the show, as we've demonstrated in our thermal testing. So no fans are included. If you want maximum bling, you'll be paying money. But weirdly, it won't make a lot of difference to the cooling. It's more about the looks than anything. Overall, and I've wavered here, I've gone from a 7.5 worth considering to an 8 and worth buying. If you take this case in its own terms, which is, it looks pretty good. It's a relatively basic case in terms of functions, although you do get that digital display. It's not hugely expensive, but it doesn't come with any fans. I'm just landing on worth buying an 8 out of 10. Do please check us out at kitguru.net, and also we're on TikTok.